سر الإحسان نارت لي يا شمسي، طافت بي الأكوان أوقفت عن نفسي. لا إله إلا الله، لا إله إلا الله، لا إله إلا الله، والحبيب رسول الله. ساقني الرحمن شربت من كأسي، لا زمن لا مكان، لا جار لا همسي، لا ملك لا إنسان يدري معنى جنسي.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما صليت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم، وبارك على سيدنا محمد وعلى آل سيدنا محمد كما باركت على سيدنا إبراهيم وعلى آل سيدنا إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. Today Karkariya Speaks English, a program without boundaries, trying to unveil the hidden truth with special guests around the world. Many people have heard of Sufism, its poetry, its mysticism, its love for God, but far fewer really understand what it means to be a Sufi disciple. What does it actually entail to walk this path under the guidance of a living sheikh? And what does that relationship look like? And how does it shape a person's life from the inside out? Today we're diving into that question with someone who lives it. I'm joined by Sidi Marouen. Welcome, Sidi Marouen.
Welcome, Sidi. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.
Disciple in the Karkariya Sufi path. We'll talk about what it means to commit yourself to a spiritual path in our time, and what the challenges that comes with that, and how the journey of a discipleship unfolds, not in theory, but in real life. Already, Sidi Marouen?
How are you doing? Good. Thank you. Alhamdulillah, I'm doing well. Thank you again for inviting me to this beautiful series, and I hope inshallah that will benefit from it first, and that the audience also benefit from the wisdom of our Shaykh, inshallah.
Inshallah, it will, inshallah. Thank you so much for sharing what you learned from Sayyid Shaykh. First question, Sayyid Marouen. A lot of people admire Sufism from the outside, but few understand what it really means to be a disciple. In your experience, how would you describe what changes when someone truly steps into this role?
First of all, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي ببركة ومدد سيدي محمد فوز الكركري قدس الله سره الشريف. First of all, I think we need to understand what it means to be a disciple in the Sufi path. To actually understand what it means, to actually respond to this question. And I think that nowadays, as you said in the introduction, there is a great confusion about what it means to be a Sufi disciple. Some people think that it's being an ascetic, you know. Mm-hmm. Some other people think it's being someone who does a great amount of worship of God. Some other people think that it means, you know, reading books of Sufism. Some other people think it's about, you know, having good ethics and morals and virtues. Mm-hmm. But in reality, all of those are maybe aspects of Sufism, but they don't really mean that a person is a Sufi seeker. Mm-hmm. First of all, no, the people of God have called the Sufi disciple a murid. What does murid mean in English? Murid is someone who is seeking something, someone who wants something. And what does the Sufi seeker seek? They seek the divine presence, mm-hmm. the true realized knowledge of God. They seek to discover who they are. That's the purpose of the Sufi path. That's the purpose of the station of Maqam al-Ihsan, as the Prophet ﷺ taught us when he was asked by Angel Gabriel, what is the station of Ihsan, or what is the station of spiritual excellency? The Prophet ﷺ responded, it's to worship God as if you see him. Mm-hmm. And if you don't see him, then know that he sees you. So this hadith teaches us that this whole station, that is the station of Ihsan, excellency, that is the subject of study in Sufism, turns around the idea of worshiping God as if you see him, meaning a realized worship of the divine. It's not a worship that is merely committed to the outward actions, but it is outward actions with the strong faith that is realized in the perception or the witnessing of the divine during this path of worship. Mm-hmm. So the aim and the goal of Sufism is to unveil those truths mm-hmm. within the self. So that's what the Sufi disciple is seeking. Now, if a person is working on having good morals without having in mind the fruit of Sufism, that is the witnessing of God within the self and realizing themselves in the real, that is God, then that person is not a Sufi disciple. Mm-hmm. That person is working on a branch of Iman, for instance. Because the Prophet ﷺ has explained that the branches of Iman, of faith, are 60 and something, or 70 and something. So they're working on bettering themselves, on being a good Muslim, but they're not in the path of Sufism. Then Sidi Sheikh teaches us that a Sufi disciple who seeks God needs to have a sheikh. In our tariqah, this person, when the disciple comes to the tariqah, they enter through the door of the pledge or the commitment or the initiation. Mm-hmm. And that we call the bay'ah. And that's the first foundation in our path. And when the disciple comes seeking God, seeking the truth, seeking the station of spiritual excellency, when they realize that Sufism is that, and they want to become a Sufi disciple, a Sufi seeker seeking the truth, they come through the door of the initiation with the Shaykh, the bay'ah with the Shaykh. And from there, they undertake the path. Why we call it path, why we call it tariqah? Because it is based on wayfaring. It is a journey that has foundations. It is not just I commit myself to the Shaykh, I take the bay'ah and then I do whatever I want. Or then like, it's a form of blessing for me and my family. No, it is an education. It is a path. It is a journey. So when you enter through this foundation, you recognize it's a school that you commit yourself to. And this school has, our Shaykh explains always, has foundations, has classes, has things to fulfill, has obligations. And those obligations, as our Shaykh has explained many times, are the 7 foundations of the path. Sab' al-usul. The first is the bay'ah. Then the disciple, the seeker, the true disciple in the path. The one who qualifies as a disciple, as Shaykh explains, is the person who works on the other 6 foundations of the path that are, wearing the patch clock, undertaking the spiritual travel, the siyaha, working hard to perform the spiritual seclusion, invoking the name Allah, getting the secret of the divine, the sirr, that's the door to knowledge, and wearing the beads or the tasbih. This is the methodology of the path. These are the weapons through which this is your mount in the path. Without these, you cannot wayfare to God. That's in one of the lessons that Sidi Sheikh gave 10 days ago. He explained this. He said, a Karkari disciple is a disciple who has a bay'ah, but also upholds the foundations of the path, because those are the mounts to reach God. You cannot just, you come here in a path in which you acquire. Everything is a gift from God. Everything is but you acquire it through work. In that work, there is a methodology that the Shaykh has established, and he has explained that. So you need to work on those foundations to qualify as a disciple in the path. If you work on some and you leave some, then your formation, your training is not complete. So that's why you need to aim to touch on all of them with the guidance of the Shaykh, and you will realize gradually how those practices, spiritual practices and practices that the ego sometimes dislike, those will be beneficial to you and open for you the doors of divine knowledge. So in summary, what is a Sufi seeker, especially within the framework of the Tariqa Karkariya, is a person who is seeking the divine, seeking the knowledge of the divine, the disclosures of the real, seeking to know themselves truly and to access the spiritual aspect of existence and the secrets of being. They are people who are committed to a living spiritual master. And they are people who uphold and practice the foundations that that spiritual master has established in the way to God. And those basically are the mount of the disciple to reach in the ultimate truth in the way.
MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Thank you so much, Sidi Marouen, for this detailed answer. And inshallah, that maybe another interviews we're going to talk more about the 6 other foundations for
inshallah. And so I think many people have questions about, those foundations, and will be beneficial, inshallah, in the future to maybe have like one episode for each one of them.
Inshallah, we'll do, inshallah. Second question, Sidi Marouen. What were some of the inner or outer challenges you faced when you first became a disciple? And how did they shape your understanding of the path?
So as we explained, when you come to the path, you come seeking the truth, seeking God and the Prophet ﷺ through a realized knowledge. So before that, there is actually events that happen. So I had events in my life that led me to the conviction that I need this in my life.
Yeah. Can hear part one for
you can hear part one for more details. But the challenge is when you commit yourself to a living sheikh is that the living sheikh will, in a way, unveil for you your hidden darknesses and make you confront those darknesses. Because without confronting your inner evils, you cannot clean yourself from the rust that you built through, years of presence here in this physical realm, Yeah. So the sheikh opens up those darknesses, and they manifest in people criticizing your decision, people making fun of you because you committed to a living master, especially nowadays in a time where people are have very negative views of Sufism. I'm from a Muslim background. I'm not just someone who converted to Islam in the US. I have friends back home in Tunisia, I have family, and the closest people to me were critical of my decision. They could not understand what I'm doing, but all that was mainly tests and things for me to see if I'm sincere or not in the path. And alhamdulillah, by abiding to Sidi Sheikh teachings and following the lessons and doing what I had to do at that time, I quickly understood that those were tests, for me to see my sincerity in my commitment. So I think that's the biggest challenge I had. Then the other challenge is that to commit yourself to getting rid of all the dark knowledge that you acquired through the years, and that including religious knowledge, that including knowledge of how to practice Islam, knowledge of who God is, and that's also for some people a painful thing to do, because you need, as we talked in the past interview, is that you need to surrender your intellect to the sheikh. You need to work on that, on surrendering your intellect to the sheikh. And that your nafs, your lower soul, your ego, uses that, illusion that you build within yourself, to have control over you. So it doesn't want to lose that. It doesn't want to lose that sense of existence, that sense of pride. I know, I have knowledge, I can do decisions. And that's difficult too. In the beginning, some of the things that Sidi Sheikh were saying, because it was so new for me, I'm not used to reading Sufi books or all that, did not mean anything. I was what's this person talking about? It was so difficult, so high in level that for me it was I had to come to the realization that I need to take the sit of someone who doesn't know. And for me, someone, who back then just graduated from an Ivy League, who's done work and research, it is difficult to tell them, now you just, pretend that you don't know anything. But not only pretend, but realize that you don't know anything.
Yeah.
And that's difficult. That's difficult too, because even though Sidi Sheikh is taking us step by step, feeding us gradually knowledge of reality, dealing with us as if we were babies, not telling us all the truth and, being, kind of giving you little by little what it means, to have true knowledge. But it's painful. So too, it's family attachment that wasn't too difficult, I guess, but that was also that was a challenge. And family friends attachments, but also giving up that attachment to the illusory knowledge that I've built and the convictions that I had. And that's I think the challenges that came with the bay'ah, and with to understand what a commitment means, what initiation means. A commitment to bay'ah, it is you pledge allegiance to the sheikh, but not only that, it's like you say that I'm committing myself to your teachings, I am committing myself to your view of the world, I'm committing myself to your practices, I'm committing myself to your directions, I'm giving up myself to you. And that part is difficult.
Yeah.
For the ego, it is easy. And I mean, in reality, it's easy. It's like, okay, I'm coming to a new system of knowledge. Okay, I'm sitting down. I just like start from the start. Just pretend I don't know anything. And start from 1 + 1 = 2. We start with practicing, sums. Then we learn about like how to subtract. Then we learn how to do multiplications. Then we move to other types of math. Then we learn about equations. Then we learn how to do second order equations. And then we move to, integrals, derivations and all that, calculus, linear algebra. So it's that's how it is. Yeah. But you need to start with the basics, with 1 + 1 = 2, with how to do sums. You can't just access the real analysis of mathematics, real analysis of Sufism from the start. You need to take it baby steps, and that's difficult. That's difficult for someone who's like come to the path at the age of 27 with a degree from an Ivy League. That was difficult. That was like difficult for the ego.
Yeah, totally.
I need to acknowledge that. I'm not like a saint. I'm not an accomplished master. I just came like everyone else. But just realize, when you follow the guidance of the sheikh, when you take the cure of the sheikh, when you take the medicine every day, practicing the word, waking up at night, following the durus of the sheikh, investing yourself in, doing, for instance, like all those testimonies, coming to the Zawiyah, doing companionship with the Sheikh. Over the years, you're able to overcome those illusions and those attachments, and then the fun starts in the path. Yeah. Then the fun of that's where you start like tasting the fruits of the bay'ah. First of all, through the disclosures, then, the first secret, the second secret, and then you start reflecting about the creation of the heavens and the earth. When you get rid of all that, so-called knowledge that they've given you in school, and then you start realizing how things work in the cosmos, and subhanallah, and the only thing you say is like mashallah, subhanallah, and that's it's difficult. But in the same time, when you remove your nafs, when you just say to your nafs, just calm down. Now it's time to really learn true knowledge. Then becomes easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Subhanallah. MashaAllah. Thank you, Sidi Marouen.
No problem.
And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us fully surrender everything.
Inshallah.
To get on
with
them,
ease and jamal,
the blessing, inshallah. We're going to take a small break and come to you, inshallah, back. Shukran. Welcome back to Karkariya Speaks English, tonight with Sidi Marouen, Jedoui. Sidi Marouen, our last question for you, Sidi. How does having a living Shaykh transform your spiritual journey compared to walking the path alone or just reading about it?
Thank you very much. This is, I think, a very important question that's very relevant to the American context. Many people, including me in the past, thought that you could wayfare to God by yourself. Yeah. That the intermediary of the living master is not important. That you could just have read about it and practice it by yourself, and somehow the doors of the spiritual realm will open up for you. And I quickly realized I'm not going to say that. I know people who've done it for 20 years, 30 years. I can guarantee people that you will never attain any fruits of what Sufism promises if you wayfare by yourself. You will not cure your spiritual illnesses. You will not discover the truth of the self and God. You will not have disclosures of the real. You need the intermediary of the Shaykh with you. You need the living example to walk with. You need the doctor to walk with you in the path. Mm-hmm. It is important to realize that the Sufi masters, but not only the Sufi masters, but Muslims in other fields of Islamic sciences have always insisted on the fact that, when we talk about knowledge as it has pillars. One of the pillars, they all agree that the most important pillar is the teacher. Mm-hmm. The other pillar is the student. So the pillar is the subject of knowledge. Mm. There might be a science in which you need a curriculum. But one of the another pillar that in all the sciences is a curriculum. Mm-hmm. So if you have those four, if you have the teacher, you have the student, you have the curriculum, you can the knowledge of Sufism is realized. But you as a student just coming in and picking up, a book from there and studying that curriculum by yourself and spending time on it, you will never reach anything because the pillar of the teacher is not required. What does a pillar mean? A pillar is a thing if it's not if it's not present, then the thing is not accomplished. Mm-hmm. That's what we call a pillar in Islamic sciences. A pillar, it is something within the object that if it's not there, then the object is not fulfilled and realized. Like, for instance, in the Salat, if you do not, let's say, read the Fatiha while standing, that's a pillar. Mm-hmm. If you don't read it, then your Salat is not valid. Mm-hmm. You need to repeat that unit. Yes. You need to go back and do it again. Mm-hmm. Why? Because that's a pillar. Mm-hmm. In the Shahadatain, in the testimony of faith, saying, recognizing the messengerhood of Prophet Muhammad and testifying that you about it is a pillar in the testimony of faith. Mm. If you don't say it, your Islam is invalid. In Sufism, the Shaykh, the living master, the capable living master, is a pillar in the journey. Without this pillar, your wayfaring is not valid. Mm. You're actually not wayfaring at all. Yeah. You're just doing exercises. Mm-hmm. You're just earning ajr, you're earning rewards. Mm-hmm. But you're not gonna get the fruit of the science of Sufism. That's the, knowing who you are, who's God, and the ma'rifah, gnosis. You will not reach that. Mm-hmm. So everyone who's now hearing me and they say, I am wayfaring by myself, I'm sorry to say, this is from my personal experience of everyone before me, and this is in the story of Musa and Khidr in Surah Al-Kahf in the Quran. You need a master. Without the living master, you cannot reach God. Without committing yourself, taking the bay'ah, the spiritual commitment, initiation with the living Sufi master who's able to wayfare with you in the physical and spiritual realm to make you discover who you are and who is God, you don't have any wayfaring. You're not a Sufi disciple. You're not a Sufi seeker. Reading about it doesn't mean anything. You can read about something. You can read about the sweetness of honey, but you will only discover that sweetness when you taste honey. You will not only discover what Sufism is and Sufi wayfaring only when you have a living spiritual master. You're not the prophet. Only prophets have intermediaries of angels like Angel Gabriel, you know. You're not the prophet. You're a normal human being working on the station of Islam, Iman, and Ihsan, spiritual excellency. And that station, you need the intermediary of someone of your kind. That's the Sheikh. And you need to commit yourself with understanding to a bay'ah, to initiation, to unveiling the truth of existence within you, and so that you realize who you are. And who is your Lord. Other than that, there is no wayfaring for me, for someone who is pretending to practice things. I mean, I've tried it for like, I think 1 month to, you know, pick up like one dhikr from here, one dhikr from there. I was just hurting myself. I mean, was getting nowhere. Yeah. It actually like teaches you bad habits. It makes you like, you know, a prideful person. Your ego feeds on that, because the ego is actually your master, becomes your master. You think that but actually it's like you put in your ego as your master, and it's leading you towards like vices, like, you know, pride and thinking that you are a spiritual person, but in reality you're not. And that takes you into like more spiritual illnesses and emotional problems, and, you know, very bad diseases like you know, megalomania, schizophrenia. I mean, we see people who did this, you know, after many, many years, when they get really deep in that and they don't face their reality, and they don't have like a good discussion with themselves, and they're not like frank with themselves, and they're not like genuine with themselves to understand that they're going nowhere. It turns into big vices, you know. That's why they turn into so-called like spiritual guides and all that. And what they do is like they hurt other people. It's actually bad to wayfare by yourself. Exactly. Better, you know, stick to the station of Islam, doing what you have to do, 5 daily prayers, doing as many sunnah as you can. Try to read about the sunnah of the Prophet, the life of the Prophet, the life of the past awliya, you know, aspiring for that, but do not even claim getting close to this mighty station. This station has rules, has regulations, has, you know, you need the proper papers when you come to this. You need the proper visa, proper passport. You need the proper delegations. You need the proper paperwork when you come here. If you don't have the paperwork of, you know, I have a living spiritual master, then you're not going to be accepted. You're going to be kicked out, and when they kick you out, they might send you really far away in the darknesses. So don't even pretend that. And the way to find that you are going nowhere is to, you know, have a sincere discussion with yourself, assessment of yourself. Those who've done this for like months and years. It's just like I've done myself. I mean, I've done for like a month or something. I'm trying. I mean, you're going nowhere.
Yeah.
You just like realize that there is no disclosures. There is nothing. You're just pretending that you're progressing, but in reality not. You're just doing the station of Islam and that's it. So do not be delusional. That's what I'm telling people.
Yeah.
Do the way things are done. Do not be afraid of committing yourself to a living master, and the way you know the living master, as we said in the previous interview, you know, just like prayer consultation. Now that you're hearing us, there is a master, living master, that's Sidi Muhammad Fawzi Karkariya Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He has millions of disciples. He has thousands, if not tens of thousands of people testifying about his genuineness. You just go ahead and pray of consultation. If you're truly sincere in your seeking, that you're really seeking the truth, then this is the door. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not make you sit to watch us now for no reason. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala create things with a certain aim. Maybe this is a message for you. This is a message for you to assess yourself, to maybe pray of consultation about this living master. And if you have a good response, then go ahead, you know. Do not be afraid of the truth. Do not be afraid of saying, okay, I'm going nowhere.
Yeah.
That's how you progress, actually, is to recognize that you are down here, and that there is things to learn more, and that there is a margin of progress. But if you say, okay, I'm progressing by myself, I'm already ahead, then there is no progress anymore. If you come, like Sayyidi Sheikh says all the time, if you come with an empty vessel, I will fill you with light. I'll fill you with knowledge. I will fill you with goodness. If you come with me telling me that my vessel is full while it's empty, only full with darkness, then it's already full with darkness. I'm not going to be able to put anything in it. So be frank with yourself. Get rid of that darknesses. Come with an empty vessel to God and do prayer of consultation. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide all of us to the truth and the living master, inshallah.
Ameen. Thank you so much, Sidi Marouen.
No
thank you so much. And our listeners, thank you so much. And inshallah, we're going to see you again in another interviews for more talking about the pillars and about the foundation, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
الله يكرمك يا سيدي.
شكرا.